Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here to talk about Blade House of Chthon. Now, mind you, this is actually the first episode, the pilot episode, whatever you'd like to refer to it as, of the Blade the Series TV show from 2006. Now, I've never seen the show, I've never seen this pilot before. Kind of a little bit of a rundown for me when it comes to Blade. I saw bits of 1 and 2 when I was a kid. I saw 3 a ton on TV back in the day when I was a kid. That introduced me to Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Alba and Wesley Snipes. And it was the goofiest and the worst, easily, of the 3. But I saw probably about 6 or 7 years ago the first Blade movie for the first time. And I loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. It's still my favorite of the series. And then I saw the second one, Blade 2, no joke, like 6 months ago, and I hated it. It's not the worst thing ever. Blade Trinity, the third movie, is still the worst, but Blade 2 is not as good as people make it out to be. It's got some interesting ideas here and there. I think overall my problem with that movie is, number one, the more Matrixy ripoff feel to it, but number two, it's Guillermo del Toro's directing. Never been a fan of that. Never been a fan of him, for that matter. I think he's super overrated. But Blade Trinity easily is the worst, and I knew that this was floating out there. I knew people had seen this and had seen the series. I know the series did not have, like, a lot of uproar about it, positive or negative, and I never got around to watching it, and after seeing this pilot, which you can't really judge a show based on the pilot, but for me, I can judge whether I'm going to waste time on anything else from a series based on that. Sometimes I'm proven wrong. Sometimes I'm not. Most of the time I would say I'm not, for my personal taste. There are 2 exceptions to this rule. Firefly. The first episode is horrible. I hate the pilot of Firefly. Episode 2 and onward, what I saw of the show, I never completed that whole season. It's pretty good. Didn't hate it. Thought it was pretty nice. The other exception would actually be Star Wars The Clone Wars, which the first season or 2, not very good. Season 3 and onward, excellente. Pretty much. Very rarely am I proven wrong about my taste. Supernatural was really kind of bland at first, and then got really great from season 3 onward of that show too. And then it crashed and burned. You know? I don't think I would like the series of this show anymore. But House of Chthon I finally watched in this 4-pack of Blade stuff that I had. And I don't remember the other movies well enough to be able to talk about them, even though I love the first one. I've seen it a few times now. But this was fucking garbage. Hear me again. This was fucking trash. I will never watch this again. Everything you could think would be wrong with this is wrong with this. I'm not against having a new casting for Blade. Wesley Snipes is not here. You actually have a rapper named Sticky Fingers. Yes. Sticky fucking Fingers is his name. I'm not saying fingers wrong. I'm saying his name. He is not good. He is not good as Blade. He has a voice that's a little too high-pitched, and I don't like that. Blade needs to be Wesley Snipes, or this new guy that they have set up, Mahershala Ali, is that his name? From Alita Battle Angel? He's really good. I think he would be a good Blade if they'd remake it, even though I'd prefer to have Wesley Snipes back. But Sticky Fingers is not good as Blade. I don't know if he gets better in the series. I am not watching any more of that. If some of you pop in here and say, hey, it was actually great as it went on, maybe I'll check it out. If you troll me, I will find you and I will beat your ass. Anyway, the Blade series does not interest me at this current moment, is what I'm trying to say. This particular pilot is an hour and a half to set up like 3 things. Number one, you barely follow Blade in this. It's so busy trying to focus on this girl named like Krista or something, who is a veteran who just came back to the U.S., and her brother had supposedly been arrested according to the rest of her family. Turns out he was killed. He was shot in the head and he died. There may have been some drug, gang, crime activity, but she doesn't really think so. And eventually she finds out about an organization who are the people we saw kill her brother, named the House of Chthon, which, once again, they are vampires. This isn't tied to the Blade movies at all, obviously. I mean, I think that's pretty clear, you know? But this new girl is supposed to be tied in eventually with Blade, with his kind of second-hand man. He's an Asian guy, not a very good actor. They're all supposed to work together to take down the House of Chthon. And by the way, the Chthon word, very Lovecraftian. I like that word. Pretty nice. It's kind of shitty. Kind of sounds like when you're a fantasy or sci-fi writer and you try to explain a word or some kingdom name to your girlfriend who has never touched that shit. Very strange. But there's not a whole lot of fighting and action, and David S. Goyer was tied into this too, who was tied into the movies, as many of you know. And I think he even helped produce it, develop it, everything. Wrote a lot of the episodes with other people. And I'm like, dude, this is rough. This is a rough pilot. I don't think this is going to be any better as time goes on. There's some other villains and stuff that are set up, but when Blade fights and kills people, he may use his sun rays gun or whatever. They dissolve. The CGI actually looks a lot like the Blade films CGI from the 90s and the early 2000s, but I don't know if that held up as well in 2006 when this was coming out versus, even nowadays in 2024 where all of the CGI of all of those movies in this series look bad. It hasn't held up very well. In any regard, for that matter, the way it's shot or anything. It's kind of nice as a time capsule thing if you were around at this time to remember kind of what some TV shows and stuff on the higher end, like the Starz Network and stuff, looked like a lot of the time. Sopranos, all of that stuff. It's kind of nice in that regard for people like me who were from the 90s, who were born in the 90s. I don't know why I said it that way. But watching this, it was bizarre seeing that. It was bizarre seeing a scene with a random topless girl. I was under the impression this was on Spike TV or something. In the first 10 minutes of the movie, Blade kills a guy, and there was blood everywhere coming from his neck when he cut his neck open. It was awesome. Really cool. It actually started on a very promising note for that first 5 minutes or so, and then it crashed and burned, like always. This was bad. The music is bad. The directing of it's bad. Everything about House of Chthon, and I assume the series in general, even though pilots are sometimes filmed earlier, but they don't look that different the majority of the time, unless it's a sitcom from the overall show that you get. Not most of the time. I don't think this is going to hold up. I don't have any interest, and I don't really want to watch any more of this shit. So, with all that being said, it made Blade lame and boring. The whole thing is literally most of the time people standing around and talking. And talking and talking and talking, and then reaffirming to us, the audience, what's actually going on right now, and what piece of info we just heard about from somebody else. The ending of it is absolutely unintentionally hilarious in this pilot, and regardless, I will never watch the rest of that series. I just don't see any point to it. Maybe I'll try the Blade anime, that's about all I have interest in at this point. But that's about it for the media for Blade. There's just not anything else out there. I don't think this remake is ever going to happen from MCU work. So, we'll see. Anyway, have you seen Blade the series? Have you seen Blade House of Chthon? Is it any good? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Did you think it was good back in the day when it was on TV? I'd love to hear that especially too. But for you hardcore Blade fans, please let me know what you think down below. I don't think we'll ever get somebody who can play Blade as good as Wesley Snipes, but I'm figuring out more and more for me personally. I love the character of Blade, just like I love the character of Venom. My problem comes in with how I don't like the majority of stories told with that character placed into them. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. And here, you don't even have the jokes that Wesley Snipes used to make. You have one scene where Blade makes a wisecrack, and otherwise he's always just standing around. It's fucking goofy and boring and talky and talky and talky and talky. So anyway, again, let me know what you think down below. Thank you all for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas the other day. God bless you all. Catch you later. Have a happy new year. And goodbye.